Akanksha is a student of VIBGYOR High. She is a student council leader, an active member of the Climate Academy and clubs, and has represented her school at Model United Nations in Mumbai. Let's welcome Akanksha on stage. Give her a standing ovation, everyone together. Come on.
Check. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? First thing that I would like to say is what a wonderful crowd we have here. What an amazing crowd we have here. You know, when I see such a crowd like this, the first question that pops up into my head is, what is your passion? What are you deeply passionate about? You know, not many people give straight answers to this. And you might be wondering, why is this girl asking such absurd or irrelevant questions that really don't matter? Well, let me tell you why. That is because I define passion as something that you are so deeply interested in that you can immerse yourself within it and watch the world around you just fade away. Hello everybody, my name is Akanksha. And I'm a 14-year-old girl who considers herself extremely lucky to have found her passion at the mere age of 6 years old. I still remember the story like it was yesterday. I was in my senior KG classroom and I was rummaging through my friend's bag because she always had the best sweets. So I was looking through her bag and I found something. It was vivid. It was colorful. And maybe it's something that many of you in this audience might consider boring. Can you guess what it was? It was a book. More precisely, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. I picked it up and I read the first line because I was curious. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play. So we sat in that house all that cold, cold, wet day. And that was it. I was drawn in by the vivid pictures, the imagery, and the words. I sat on the floor of my classroom and read the whole thing, front to back and cover to cover. I think my friends were looking at me weirdly, but I couldn't care less, since this was the first time I experienced the power of the written word. Soon after this incident, my mother took me to a place that I was extremely excited to go to. I know, most kids my age would have loved to go to birthday parties or trips to the mall. But I loved Ellur Library. It was a place of wonder and magic. But most importantly, a place where I felt I belonged. Within the endless rows of books and the stories waiting to be discovered, I found belonging. I would stack the books high up on my hands and I would beg my mom, let's take them all home, please. From then on, I developed a hunger for reading. And this was satisfied by none other than Mrs. Meera Raman, founder and CEO of AASHA Infinite Foundation. But for me, nothing more than Meerata, the fun-loving aunt who would bring over books on every visit, which piqued my interest, which piqued my curiosity, and which even made an impromptu library in my house. Books that I would pore over for hours and hours on end. From then on, reading, they became my world. I grew up surrounded by books. My dad's side of the family, all avid readers. My grandmother, who was a Kannada author. So, you might ask, what does that little girl look like today? Well, let me tell you. She's the type of girl who reads into the dead of the night till 2 o'clock and regrets it also the next day. She's the type of girl who says just one more chapter, but she knows that's never true. She's the type of girl who drags her friends into bookstores, and that makes them so mad and angry. Well, I love reading. fantasy, fiction, dystopian, mysteries, and the stories of Amar Chitrakatha, they became my world. Not just characters on pages like Hogwarts or Percy Jackson. They became worlds that made me brave, curious, and alive. What if I thought it was not always about adventure? Books gave me a lot of things, but it was also a safe space, somewhere to hide and heal in when life became too overwhelming or chaotic. You all know it. When I had a fight with my best friend. It might sound petty for you, but it was a bad phase. I still read. When I lost my grandmother and the grief was too overwhelming to bear, I read. It became my constant and stayed with me through all the phases of my life. But of course, it's not always sunshines and rainbows. You've all heard of it. The stereotypes that makes bookworms so unapproachable, that we're nerds with no social life who live with their faces buried in their books all day long. Well, I couldn't disagree more. And this is because books help build and forge connections, not break them apart. During COVID, when we were all locked up in our houses, I turned to the online world. I made a YouTube channel where I only had a couple of hundred subscribers, but I posted edits of my favorite characters. But my job was never to become internet famous. It was simply to join a community which I felt was heartfelt and inspiring. Even in real life, when you meet somebody who reads, it forges an instant connection, an unspeakable bond that pulls you closer in a way that nothing else can. Lastly, books taught me empathy. They let me see life from 1,000 different perspectives. They let me come back with a clean and fresh mind. And this is exactly what has inspired me to write a book of my own someday. A future bestseller, I hope, so that somebody else may feel the same spark that I feel when I read. You know, I wonder, all those years ago, what if I had never picked up that book? What if I had never read that story? I would have walked past Ellur Library without a second glance. I would have never become the person I am here today. I would have never been speaking in front of you all. But that's what books do. They work quietly. And before you know it, they've changed who you are and the person that you can become. So, literature has evolved. It's not about dusty libraries or thick novels anymore. We have audiobooks, we have comics, we have podcasts, over so many genres that something can surely interest you as well. For me, it was connection, healing, and knowledge. But for you, it can be discovery or just a moment of peace. Because reading is a unique journey, tailored to fit you where you're at, not a one-size-fits-all. So, why am I here today? Why is a 14-year-old girl speaking to such distinguished professionals? Well, I'm here to remind you of the beauty that reading can bring. Maybe you're a person who is already well acquainted with its magic, or someone who's lost touch with its reality, or someone who's never discovered the world. I hope that when you all go home today, just like me, you'll pick up a book and let it surprise you and see what that opens up inside of you. Because somewhere in those pages is another version of you waiting to be found. And maybe, just maybe, that story can be your beginning and your passion as well. Thank you.